Nice. Well, hello again. Welcome to the Bourbon Basement 2022 edition.
Here we are again after New Year's. It's
Yeah.
a new year. That's the definition of New Year's.
It's the first one since New Year's, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
We haven't done one.
Well then, welcome back to the Bourbon Basement 2022 edition 2.0. We've got a variety of things, water specifically and bourbon, go figure, that's what we usually have. But today,
Boy, do we have a treat.
is a very special occasion, a very, very special occasion. Today, we are drinking none other than the Garrison brothers. Two brothers, born, raised, bred in Texas. Okay? Their story is magnificent. I can't do it justice telling the story of the Garrison brothers.
We haven't even started drinking yet, and I just already stuck my vape in coffee. We're doing good tonight.
That's okay. Actually, New Year's, I dropped my vape in margarita, and it worked just fine. So, these things, they're waterproof, right?
Probably, maybe.
Definitely, actually. They're margarita proof, that much is true. This fire is not going well. It's okay. We're here for one thing and one thing only. To drink the bourbon, tell you how the bourbon is, and all kinds of fun shenanigans, and just quickly get over the top. Tonight's bourbon is not just Garrison Brothers. Oh no, it's the Garrison Brothers Small Batch. It's a Texas straight bourbon whiskey. And how I know a lot of you bourbon fanatics out there are like, no, actually, it's not really bourbon, no, go and eat a brass bukkake breakfast, okay?
A brass bukkake breakfast.
Yeah.
Can you define that real quick, actually? Sorry to interject here.
It's just a whole lot of brass.
A whole lot of brass?
Yeah, straight in the face.
Straight in the face.
Yeah.
Okay.
For breakfast.
For breakfast.
Now, it's, wow. Man, they are really specific on here. So we got the corn variety. It's food grade, #1 white. Right? It's from the farms in South Tejas.
Tejas.
Yeah.
That is very cultural.
Yeah. It's bottle number 61319.
Oh, do they have it handwritten on there?
Yep.
God, I love it when they handwrite it.
Its release date was in 2021. Aged for 3 years in oak.
3 years?
Yep, that's what it says.
I'm surprised that they didn't age it longer. I thought Garrison Brothers would age longer.
Small batch, well, they don't have to.
I know.
They're just that good. So...
Get a nice close-up of that bottle. It is truly a beautiful bottle. I love the artwork on these.
Yeah, this... Move your head a bit. I can't. Okay, you know what? It's fine. This is metal. Real. That's cold steel, press stamped, smithed by the Smiths. They're a dying breed in Texas, So it's oh shit! It's got a little born and bred in High Texas. So it's good bourbon can change the world is their slogan, and I'll let Brandon here narrate to us.
Every bottle of Garrison Brothers is overflowing with the finest gourmet grade ingredients on the planet. The nectar inside was made from a sweet mash bill and heat forged in the scorching Tejas sun, extracting all the flavor possible from our new American white oak barrels, yielding a darker, richer, and fuller bourbon than any out there. Certainly so. Shall we?
Oh, hell yeah, let's do this. I'm assuming you're gonna loosen up your stomach before you start drinking? Or are you just gonna dive right in, hair the dog it? You're not gonna drink it all? Well, come on, don't be a... You're missing out. Oh, that's a shame.
This is the GB.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. And as always, we go neat first.
You got it. Man, so a lot has happened since our last podcast that we have yet to discuss.
And I can think of nothing to talk about because I am running on 3 hours sleep. It was quite a day at work. But here we are. We pull through. We're champions. And we do this for the love of the game.
That's right. And the love of the bourbon. Okay.
Okay.
Well then. Okay. Alrighty. Well, cheers to the Garrison Brother 2022 and the new Omicron.
It smells delightful. And tastes even better.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of a sting to it.
I don't think so.
Really?
I'm not getting it.
It's a little bit of a sting. But oh my god, is it good. It's kind of sweet.
Relatively low ABV. Yeah, for a small batch. Usually small batch. Or no, I'm thinking of cask strength. That's what I'm thinking of, but still. It's only 47%. Usually with something small batch, I'd expect, 100 proof, which I've talked about this before. Not a huge fan of anything over 90 proof because it's hard to take away that harsh alcohol bite, but Garrison Brothers certainly does a great job.
I've definitely got the heartburn.
Oh, yeah.
I feel it coming on strong already. Oh yeah. All right. It's fine. We're gonna get through that. We're just gonna power through.
And just swallow it back down. Just bury it deep like all your feelings and emotions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots have happened, and the biggest thing I can think of is I got a PlayStation 5.
This guy right here, year in the making of struggle, has finally managed to acquire the PlayStation 5, along with the Damon Souls.
Hence why I decided to represent the
repping
the
hard.
PlayStation hoodie that Sony was kind enough to send to me in an apology for them. They wanted to bury the hatchet.
Are you kidding me? Did they really?
After all of my complaints and whining and everything, they wanted to bury the hatchet.
Yeah.
No, I bought this at Walmart.
Okay. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But I thought it would have been really cool if they did.
No, it's stupid. Are you kidding? Sony would not do that.
Likely not.
No, Sony, especially as of late, has been really doing. I don't know, everything they can to. Oh my gosh, we also have a lot to talk about with the acquisition of.
That's what I was just.
Activision and yeah.
I mean, my brain is dead tonight, and I was low on topics. But with you just talking about that, yeah, we have to talk about the acquisition and what this means for Microsoft.
We could unravel so much.
I know,
but
we have a lot to talk about just in that.
Yeah. For starters, let's go with this PlayStation 5. So. This fire's gonna die, and when it does, we're just gonna let it die. All right. This one's a struggle.
Yeah, so. we have struggled with this fire, toiled
for about an hour.
Yeah, really, for quite a long time trying to get this fire going, and this fire is a little bitch, frankly. We need Calcifer up in here.
It's a perfect representation of exactly how we feel today. Yeah,
both of us are in high spirits and very well nourished, very well rested. No one's hungover.
Yeah. So yeah, year in the making, PlayStation. I've been trying my hardest to get a hold of one. You know the struggle.
Yeah.
It's been about a daily thing. I've been texting you saying.
No, you've toiled.
Yeah, like, I almost got it today.
I
almost got it today.
We've longed for the opportunity to play Demon's Souls together, as I purchased my PlayStation 5 exactly a year ago. And it's just been a year in the making. It's been a long time coming. If you're on the Twitch Thought channel, you can catch some Demon's Souls later tonight, because we're definitely going to be doing that. How coherent that Demon's Souls will be is yet to be seen.
Souls Night Saturday's never coherent.
It can be. It can be.
It's never coherent.
It can be. We've had some coherent times, and we've had some incoherent times.
For the most part, I'm pretty
Incoherent.
far gone.
Yeah.
But the funny thing, I think I've already told this story, but again, no, I haven't, because I haven't had the PlayStation 5
Of course.
since. So, for all of you viewers, to really just understand what I've gone through trying to get a hold of this PlayStation 5, it all started back in 2020. PlayStation was nowhere to be found, and somehow you got one in 2021.
I bought it in December of 2020, was shipped to me in January of 2021.
So, you know, I then scoured the internet, and it months, a year of searching. You know, GameStop.
Actually, no. Be fair. I sent you quite a few offers.
You sent me one.
Two or three.
You sent me one.
Two or three
One
through
that I
GameStop,
remember.
and you were like, "Nah, I'm gonna wait."
One that I remember. I remember the one because we were sitting in a Chili's, and I had just ordered.
I think that's where every good story starts.
Yeah, in a
We were
Chili's.
sitting in a Chili's.
We were sitting in a Chili's, and you had sent me that text, and I was looking at it, and I kept going back and forth because it was the Demon Souls and Miles Morales bundle.
That's the one. That's the one that I ended up getting. It was the disc version with 2 controllers with Demon Souls and Miles Morales.
And I was like, I don't know if I really want to. I don't want to pay full price for Spider-Man.
The thing about the Spider-Man one was it was 2 games, which made it more digestible for me. And frankly, I told you this, I didn't think I'd like Spider-Man, ended up falling in love with it. Or I didn't think it would be like something that was good. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. I didn't think it wouldn't be good. I just didn't think it would be my thing. But
I mean, I've been a strong advocate for ever since Spider-Man was created back in the 70s that he was only invented to sell video games.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if, like, Stan Lee was just like, oh, yeah, video games are gonna be a thing in the future. You wait. I mean, he was a genius, you know. But at the same time,
Was he, though?
I mean, he invented the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man 3.
Didn't he rip a lot of people off? Don't like people, like, suck his dick, even though he, like, ripped a shitload of people off.
You know, like, the DCs?
No, like, he ripped off, like, a bunch of small-time artists that came up with hero ideas.
I mean, isn't that just, like, all comic books? And
yeah, I think so, actually, yeah. You're not far off.
Superhero stuff.
I mean, I'm not denying that the
It's
guy...
shady business.
The guy was, like, a nice guy, and he did a lot of good for people, and he tried to give representation in his heroes. For anyone that might want to attack me, but I believe that he ripped a lot of people off, and it's something that's not talked about. It was kind of like Elon Musk back in the early days when everyone sucked his dick, too, before they figured out that he was a money-grubbing asshole.
Or Steve Jobs.
Yeah, or Steve Jobs.
But we can't talk about Steve Jobs.
No,
He's dead now.
Yeah, but he was also a raging asshole.
Yeah. Same with that other guy.
Bill Gates?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Gates was apparently, like, brutal back in the early
yeah.
days of Microsoft, even though he was this tiny little...
That's why he's doing this whole charity thing now. Everyone's doing the same thing.
Is it really charity, though?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so... Going back to the Chili's, we were sitting in the Chili's, and I looked at it, and I was like, I don't know if I want to pay full price for 2 games. Like, I'm going to get Demon Souls, right? Like, that's the only reason why I bought the PlayStation 5, was to play Demon Souls at the time. And this was before Elden Ring was even announced.
No, Elden Ring had been announced. Elden Ring had been announced for, like, years.
They had been talking about it, but they hadn't really shown anything.
No, they did, like, a teaser trailer, like
just
50,
the title.
Yeah, 50 years ago, and then, like, for a long time, you remember, people were debating if it was even a real game. Like, if it was some sort of, like, joke, because for years, you went without hearing a thing about it.
And I was in that camp. So yeah, I was just like, at the time, Demon Souls was the only reason why I was going to buy the PlayStation 5. I was going to spend, $700 to play a video game? Mm-hmm. And...
I think my bundle, which that was the bundle I got, which, believe me, everything was accurately priced. You know, you weren't paying anything extra. It wasn't like you were getting scalped, but you did have to pay more to get it in a bundle, but the bundles did scare away scalpers.
Right.
They were still in high demand, but that was the thing, is it was scaring away scalpers. They just wanted the consoles.
Yeah.
But it was like $750 in total. Yeah.
But even still, it's like... At the time, I remember I was sitting there, and I was just going back and forth, like,
It's a lot to
like,
drop.
should I buy it? I don't know. And at the time, I was not in the position I'm in now. And so it was just, at the time it was a lot to drop on, because we were still playing through the Soul series too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were going through, and we weren't even close to Demon Souls yet, because we had, 3 other Souls-like games? We'd only beaten Dark Souls 1.
What were we doing at that time?
I think we were playing Code Vein. We had taken a break from
Yeah, you're
Dark
right.
Souls.
We were. I think that was when we were in our Code Vein phase.
Yeah. And then...
Anime Dark Souls.
Yeah, which we're still gonna have to play.
Yeah, which actually we're very close.
Yeah.
We got close before we dropped it and went to Dark Souls 3?
Yeah. But let's start over, because we can get Brenna to play with us now.
It's easier too.
Yeah,
Especially because
it's really easy.
It's really easy.
But so I'm like, no, I don't think I want to get it. And so I wait, right? And then a year goes by of trying to get it.
Trying.
Just trying to get the PlayStation, though.
Signing up in queues, email opportunities.
So finally, I get the email after making a deal, selling my soul, just a portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I go ahead and send him an email and everything. Or I get the email, and I'm like, cool. I finally can get it. So I buy the PlayStation 5. I was only able to get the disc version. They did not have...
I was wondering about that. I never asked. I noticed you got the disc.
Yeah.
And I was like, he opted for the disc.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, what, $100 more?
$100 more.
Okay, so it was $100 more, and I got the extra controller because I wanted free shipping, and I wanted it to come fast. So, what does Sony do? They send me an email saying, your package is on its way. Your package will be delivered today. Be sure to sign for it, right? So waifu goes, I'm asleep. She signs for it. She wakes me up. She's like, you got a package. I'm like, is it here? Is it finally here? Is the PlayStation here? But no. No, they only sent the controller. And then I in a panic, right? Because my heart sank, and I was immediately like, oh God, did I only buy the controller?
You had to go back and double check.
Yeah. So I go back, check my bank statement, okay, yes, I actually purchased a PlayStation 5. Where is it? So I go on to the Sony website, look for it, and they're like, oh yeah, it'll be here in a couple days. It's like, really, Sony? After all this time I've been trying to get
You
it?
shipped the controller ahead of time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get to look at the controller and not use it. I didn't even open it. I was like, because it's a terrible controller. It actually...
I disagree, but...
But, so going back to the opting for the disc thing, I was planning on getting the digital version.
As was I, but the only bundles that were good when I was getting mine were ones that came with the disc version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, they were sold out of the
digital
online. Yeah. And so actually, now that I have the disc version, I don't regret it, because there have been multiple cases where, because I've been using Brenna's PlayStation account for years now, and I went and made my own when I got the PlayStation. I realized I didn't have any games, but I also realized that a lot of the games I own digitally on Brenna's account, but we also have on disc.
Yeah.
So we can play Bloodborne, except it was vice versa. And so I got Bloodborne for free with the PlayStation. She has the disc version, but also...
yes, it's part of the PS Plus collection. I forgot about that, yeah.
So, and then with Dark Souls, I had that same thing happen. She has Dark Souls, and we were going to play Dark Souls 3 together. We did a little bit, and I went to GameStop. They were having a sale. It was like $10.
Yeah.
So... And it loads immediately.
Oh yeah. The load times on the PlayStation 5 are ridiculous.
And to install it, even off the disc, because it's a key, right? The disc, it has the download file on the disc, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But it also really just serves as a key.
From what I understand, that's what most discs are these days. Yeah.
And so I was able to play that. And after spending the $100 extra for the disc version, in retrospect, I actually think that I'm better off with that because I don't have to go and rebuild my library for PlayStation prices, online prices. Like, I can, you know, if I come across a disc and be like, oh shit, I like that game, it's cheap. Or, you know, we do have some disc games, I can just borrow Brenna's if she's not playing them.
Plus, I have become a more digital download guy these days, but because Steam is really the only service that has a coherent digital download return policy, there are times that I am unsure I will like a game that I do like to buy on disc just because I will have the option to return it if I don't like it.
See, I usually just, if games I buy, I know I'm gonna play. Except for Steam games. See, it's the opposite for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'll buy a Steam game and it'll sit in my library for a year.
I think that's everyone.
And then I'll finally play it and be like, oh, this is a terrible game. Or it's just, you know, I see hentai in the tags and I'm like, yeah, I have to own that.
Like with us playing Call of Duty though, like when I bought Cold War, I wasn't sure how much I was going to play it or if I'd even like it, so I went out and bought it on disc. Just because if I didn't fucking like it, I wanted to return it.
Yeah. 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 So no Vanguard?
This guy. He jests.
No. I'm done. But I think that that's a good...
Far past.
Huh?
Far past.
Yeah. But that's a good segue into the next thing, which is a lot to unravel.
Activision.
Microsoft.
And Microsoft's
Blizzard.
hostile takeover of the gaming industry.
Wow, they are becoming Disney.
They have thrown their full weight into... They have learned that over the past generation and the start of this one that they simply are not on the level of Sony or Nintendo at producing hit exclusives.
Do you think that's what it was? People were just talking about Xbox not putting out exclusives?
Yeah, I really do, because, like, look at what they have for the Xbox One generation.
They don't have any.
They don't have... you know what they have? A neglected game that a lot of people love that came out as a launch exclusive that Insomniac wanted to make a sequel to, and they denied them. So what does Insomniac do? They go back to PlayStation and they make Spider-Man.
Well, was that it? What was the game?
Sunset Overdrive. I've talked to you about Sunset Overdrive.
Oh, yeah.
It was a launch exclusive.
I forget about that game.
Amazing.
Was it?
I loved Sunset Overdrive, and so many people did. And Insomniac begged, from what Insomniac said, this is coming from Insomniac, that they begged Microsoft to let them do a sequel to it, and Microsoft's like, nah. And it sold good. And then they had a one-time exclusivity deal with, I don't think this is your thing, but I like the mindless slaughtering of the Dead Rising games.
I've never played them. I played one.
They did an exclusivity deal with, I can't remember, it's a small company that makes them. They were originally like part of Capcom. But anyway, they did a one-time exclusivity. Same thing, sleeper hit of the year, Dead Rising 3. It was like announced like a month or two before it came out. Sleeper hit of the year, and they let that go too. And literally everything else that they had that was supposed to be a big exclusive was either a flop or it was canceled. They had, do you know how many like canceled exclusives they had for their Xbox One generation? It was a ton.
The Xbox One or the Xbox Series?
Xbox One. They had a ton of canceled exclusives or studios that they just up and closed down.
Really?
Yeah.
Microsoft closed down? So I honestly, I have a theory, right? I don't think Microsoft is actually buying these games to keep, or buying these companies to keep them alive. No. They're doing what Microsoft does. The
It's
same
a hostile
thing with
takeover.
Skype, the same thing with Mixer, the same thing with Bethesda. I mean, is Bethesda working on anything? Elder Scrolls, supposedly.
That they're doing like a space RP. They're doing Elder Scrolls in space too.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't remember. I don't even know what the name. I kept wanting to call it StarCraft, but that's the Blizzard. Yeah, it's the Blizzard strategy. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called because I haven't hardly paid attention to it. But they're doing like Elder Scrolls in space or Fallout in space, whatever.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's kind of weird though. Like, I don't know what their goal is because I don't think they're gonna They're gonna be doing exclusives.
I think that. Honestly, what I think is that all of their studios that they had, they tried doing the PlayStation thing and like acquiring these small time studios and then like putting financial backing behind them and seeing what they could produce, and they were either flops or for whatever reason Microsoft shut them down, and they just had a generation and a quarter of just absolute nothing in the realm of exclusives, and even what they did have wasn't on the level of Sony or Nintendo. And I think now that they're turning around and they've just decided to buy their way into exclusives. And I mean, you look at like what I was talking to you about a few days ago, you look at just in gaming for years, I mean, generations of gaming, you know, I want to say like 8 to 10 years, Nintendo and Sony have, I want to say, I was looking at the statistics, have like almost doubled Microsoft, or Sony has doubled and Nintendo has like 2.5 times the gaming revenue that Xbox produces. However, as far as the larger corporations go, Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft has much more at their disposal and a way higher market cap, much more money to throw behind everything they do, and I think they're just finally throwing all that money that they have over Sony and Nintendo into it and just acquiring these companies a la Tencent.
I had seen a post on Reddit. It was like a meme, but it actually did kind of bring up a funny point. Like, Microsoft could purchase Sony outright. Like,
Microsoft could purchase Nintendo outright. Nintendo has a smaller market cap than Sony does.
Yeah, like...
Nintendo only has like a 60 billion market cap, I think.
And which is funny, though, like, could you imagine that? Just Microsoft buys out the competitors. I don't think that's allowed,
I don't think Nintendo
though.
would let it happen.
I don't think that well, you know.
Oh, and also with this generation too, you know, they've been... You remember that they stopped selling the Xbox One in Japan like a year or two after it was released, and then this generation they've also bought their way into the Japanese market. How they bought timed exclusivity. You know, I'm a Yakuza fan. They bought timed exclusivity for the next gen version of Yakuza in Japan, so where you can only get the next gen version of Yakuza on Xbox for like a year. Yeah. They're buying their way into
and
whatever.
You had told me that the Yakuza series like a holiday in Japan. Like Yakuza drops, Japan stops.
No. That's Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest.
I forget what the statistic is, but like, there's a high percentage of people in Japan that call out of work on the day that a Dragon Quest game is released. Dragon Quest is like a holiday in Japan.
Yeah, it's like it drops and then Japan stops.
Yes, Japan stops on Dragon Quest days. It's from what I understand, it's pretty bad with not nearly as bad, but like Yakuza and Final Fantasy as well. Yakuza and Final Fantasy are also massive over there.
That's weird. I mean, I wish we had that.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I don't know, I think it's kind of slowly going in that direction.
I don't think we have anything that's that much of a cultural phenomenon over here, though, as like Dragon Quest was to Japan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, COD.
Yeah.
But anymore, it's become a joke of itself, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially with the new Vanguard, Warzone. I think Warzone is probably it's funny, like, it's the best thing to happen to COD and the worst thing to happen to COD. Like, Warzone should not have been part of the Call of Duty series. Like, it's gotten to the point where it should have been its own separate game. Like, instead of incorporating all of the stuff and trying to mix it in with Modern Warfare, Cold War, and now the Vanguard game, it's just become like this giant clusterfuck. It's free, so it's just going to encourage hacking, and being Activision, they haven't done jack shit to mitigate hackers. And now with Microsoft buying it, I think it's going to be even less money put into something that could have been awesome, right? Like Warzone had the potential to be like an awesome battle royale, like the best. Apex, I think, is still the best because I don't know, it's just cooler. I like Apex, but
personally, I'm a fan of Blackout.
I want to go back and play it. I do. I'd be interested to go back and play it, especially now, like, having gained the knowledge that I've gained from all the battle royales I've played.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'd be pretty good at it, because I think the biggest... I don't know. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
We talked about this, like, not too long ago. The problem with Blackout was it was Call of Duty TTK and in a battle royale, and it just doesn't work out.
I think, though, even though Warzone's better about it, it still promotes aggressive playstyle.
Yeah.
And I think
they
that
balanced
was the
it better
problem.
with Warzone.
Yeah. Like, there's still time to react as long as you're playing it smart. But I think that really the thing that they took from Blackout is if you see somebody, you shoot somebody. Like, there's no hesitation.
Mm.
And, like, because it's all about whoever has the drop on someone. And in Warzone, they kind of made it a little bit better. It's still not good. Like, I think PUBG had the best. Actually, Apex did have a really good balanced system where, you know, with the abilities and stuff, it was a get out of jail free card. You know, it was a way to balance the fight and, you know, get out and get back in it. But I don't know. It sucks because I love Battle Royale so much and they ruined it. But with that being said, is Overwatch 2 going to be an Xbox exclusive? Is World of Warcraft, the new expansions, going to be an Xbox exclusive?
That's a great question. That's what they did with Bethesda. They honored...
Is Doom, all the new Doom games?
No, see, that was what I was talking about when...
Yeah, it's the companies under the Bethesda.
Yeah, I could give a shit less what Bethesda is putting out with what they've been doing recently. I've lost a lot of faith in them. It was the companies that Bethesda and ZeniMax owned that I was really sad about. Like Tango Gameworks, the people that do Evil Within.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Arcane Studios, the people that did Deathloop and Dishonored.
What?
Huh?
Okay.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, Bethesda owned Deathloop.
Oh, yeah, Deathloop. I forget that Deathloop is, because it's Dishonored.
It's Arcane Studios, yeah.
Yeah. It feels exactly like Dishonored.
Yeah. You know, it was all the companies under the Bethesda umbrella that I was really disheartened about, but Microsoft honored the current exclusivity deals, which was a timed exclusivity on Deathloop, and then Tango Gameworks, the Evil Within, their next game, Ghostwire, is still going to be a PlayStation exclusive, I think, and I don't think it's timed exclusivity. But they honored those exclusivity deals, but everything else... Because Phil Spencer talked about it a few months back, like the Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout in Space were scheduled to come out on PlayStation. That's gone. They're not working on a PlayStation version anymore.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So, Elder Scrolls,
and I guarantee you Doom's gone too.
Dude, that is...
I forgot to mention id, but id Software, yeah.
Yeah, because
so sad. Doom, the new Doom, well, not even the new Dooms, all the Dooms. Doom is a fantastic series, and the new Dooms especially, like, as far as, like, a great, like, just no-holds-barred, fast-paced, creative
movement shooter.
Yeah, movement shooter. So good.
Yeah.
A shame that it's gone now for anyone to play. But, you know, I've never lied that I'm a bit of a Sony fanboy. I have faith that PlayStation's still going to be putting out. Plus, not to mention, no matter how hard...
I feel like Sony holds themselves to a higher standard.
They do. I feel like Nintendo holds themselves to a higher standard, too.
Nintendo probably holds themselves to the highest standard.
Yeah, but, you know, I have faith, and not to mention, I'm a big JRPG guy, you know that. I know you're not as much as me. They've got the Japanese market. No matter how much Microsoft tries to buy...
You can try to emulate it.
Tries to buy Xbox into the JRPG market, it's not going to happen. People in Japan, they are Sony and Nintendo through and through. They could give two shits less about Microsoft or Xbox.
Yeah. No, I mean,
And not to mention, like, companies like Square Enix, they just... A lot of their games, they just don't make for Xbox.
Yeah. No. No, they don't. I don't know. At what I've seen Sony doing with PlayStation, with the design, not of the console, but the controller, as much as I want to shit on the controller, like, that shit's... Dude, innovative app.
That haptic feedback it's nice.
That's what I was gonna say about the Spider-Man game. Is like, you know, like I played the Spider-Man game on the PlayStation 4, and that was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Going the remastered version,
the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers
on the web swing.
Yeah, dude. Oh, it feels so cool.
Yes.
You know, and it.
Returnal.
Yes, Returnal.
Returnal like, with the double trigger pull.
Yeah.
Pull.
That's like the most, I think to me, like that, like, is probably the coolest thing. Is because essentially it gives you 2 extra buttons with the trigger pulls.
Yeah, yeah.
And it completely opens up the possibilities of the things you can do in a game.
It's like you're adding extra buttons to your controller.
Yeah.
Really it is. But, and not to, like, I just want to say this. It's a nice little thing, but another thing that I'm thinking of with Eternal, have you ever stopped walking in an area where it's raining
and you feel the raindrops
rain.
in different sections on the controller?
I love it.
I hate that.
Do you?
I don't like it. That's one thing that Demon Souls, I've noticed there are things like that. You can kind of feel like footsteps and different rolls and hits and stuff.
You can definitely feel it when you hit a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, it's weird because normally, I don't play with vibration on, like, up until the PlayStation 5. Like, on Xbox, I turn vibration off on all games. Like, for the most part, like, in the initial setup, like, if I forget it, then I just leave it. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I'll usually turn off the vibration, like, just because it's one of those things that it really just annoys me more than anything. Like, it doesn't help me realize, like, I'm getting shot in like a competitive
You're
game.
A finely tuned gamer more than me.
Like if I'm getting shot, you know, I hear shots. I see my screen turn red.
Yeah.
The vibration doesn't like, oh, I guess I'm getting shot now. I better, you know, like now if they were able to implement the vibration into a way that it directionally tells you where you're getting shot from, I think that would be really cool. Kind of like a haptic feedback vest, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that would be a really neat thing that they could do. Like, it's got the ability to do that in that controller. I felt what it does. You feel the raindrops, you know?
Yes.
If you can do that, like... But it's weird, too, because it doesn't... It's such a weird phenomenon, right? Because you can feel the raindrops, but it's like... The best way I'm able to explain how it feels, to me, is... Instead of it feeling like the raindrops are actually hitting my skin, it feels like instead I'm a puddle, and I can feel the vibrations of each raindrop hitting the puddle. Like, you don't know where it's at in the puddle, but you just know that it's hitting, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like those vibrations. And it's such a weird experience. It's cool, though.
I love it, yeah. Huge fan of the controller on the PlayStation 5. I think they've done really cool shit with it. I definitely think Microsoft is going to copy it. I don't know if you remember hearing about this, but like a month after the console's released, Microsoft sent out a survey to everyone that owned a Series X or Series S, whatever, and asked if they wanted a controller that has the features of the PlayStation 5. I'm certain they've got something in development to try to copy the PlayStation 5's DualSense, but...
I don't think they need that. I think the Xbox Elite controller, it's great for what it is. It's different, but it's for different types of games.
No, I'm certain they've got an Elite 3 in the works that's going to be more like a DualSense.
But, like, I don't know. When I think of, like, a controller for competitive controller, right? Sounds like an oxymoron. In my mind, it's the Xbox controller. It's just better. It's got finer motor tune. Like, just the ergonomics of it makes more sense. You can play claw hand, and it's just better. I know you don't like claw hand, but...
I don't like fucking paddles either.
I think the paddles are perfect. I love paddles. I think, again, it adds more buttons, and it eliminates the need for the face buttons, because I hate face buttons. I think that controllers from the very get-go should have been designed with paddles instead of face buttons. It makes more sense. Your fingers are right there. Why would you design something to, like, specifically camera angle and movement, right? Like, why would you feel the need to remove your thumb from one of the most crucial things, camera angle, to heal yourself, to dodge, to crouch, to slide, to jump, any of those things?
I'm very conservative about modern control design. I like them.
I don't know.
I've never been like a paddle guy, you know. It just... I'm not finely tuned enough, I guess. I'm not dexterous enough. Would be a way. I don't have the finger dexterity for it. I always end up accidentally pressing them. It's not me.
I did too. You just teach yourself, though. I mean, like, it just changes how you hold the controller, right? Like, you kind of squeeze it and push it together instead of pulling it, if that makes sense. Because your fingers do the pulling motion, right? But your palms do the pushing motion. You hold it by pushing the controller.
Yeah.
It's still in your hands.
I know. I don't really grip a controller. I just kind of let it rest. I don't have like a death grip white knuckle on it.
I have to with claw.
I know, because you claw hand. Fucking weird.
There's no, is there a scuff controller for PS5?
Yeah.
Oh, there is?
Oh, no, not PS5. They got the one for the PlayStation 4.
Oh. Can you use PS4 controllers with PS5?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
But then again, I could be wrong.
Can you use PS5 controllers with PC?
I don't think a lot of games have support for it yet, but yes.
Well, I mean, like, even just as a gamepad. Like, it doesn't have to have the adaptive triggers. Just the gamepad. Like, will it pick it up as a gamepad?
You can use a PlayStation 5 controller on not a PlayStation 4, but a PlayStation 3.
What?
I'm not joking.
You can use the PlayStation 5 controller with a PlayStation 3?
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense.
I've done it.
Like, it syncs?
No, you have to use it wired, but yeah.
Oh, so you just did it just to see if you could do it?
No, I read about it and I tried it.
Okay, so yeah, you did it just to see if you could do it then.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It doesn't work right with every game, I guess, because they, PlayStation's not updating the PlayStation 3 for this. But I tried it on a few different games for some reason, like when it comes to like not actually playing the game with like the button mapping, but like pausing, because PlayStation 3 is post touchpad. For some reason, like it just freaks out with like pausing and going home, like the home button too. On some games. On other games, it works just fine. But yeah, you can use a PlayStation 5 DualSense with a PlayStation 3.
That is weird. I've been thinking about getting a PlayStation 3.
You should.
I want to.
It's a great console.
That's the one PlayStation.
That the whole thing about PlayStation, or it's rumored, but with PlayStation canning PlayStation Now for a more Game Pass-like subscription. There was a little bit of a development on that last week. For a very short time, a bunch of PlayStation 3 games popped up on the PlayStation 5 store for purchase and completely playable on PlayStation 5. It happened for a very short time, I believe, and one of the rumors about the new PlayStation like Game Pass service is they're going for a full backwards compatibility over all generations of PlayStation.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I'll buy it twice. Because that's what I'll have to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but they're going for... That's one of the rumors and like all the leaked emails or reports or whatever is that they're going for a full backwards compatibility with it across all PlayStation generations.
Here's what makes me question the backwards compatibility, though. Say someone does have a PlayStation 3, and you're playing Game Pass on a PlayStation 3 on PlayStation 5, will they read or talk to each other?
I don't know.
Would they be separate servers?
Probably. If I had to guess. I mean, they're not going to put it on PlayStation 3.
See, that's what... But, I mean, like, does PlayStation 3 still have PlayStation... What is it, Plus? Is that it? Is that what the
free games?
No, Xbox Live equivalent.
Yeah, they have. They still have an online service, I believe. They still have a store open. It was announced a few years back that they were going to close it down, and people complained, and they reversed this.
For PlayStation 3.
Yeah, they reversed it. They came out and said it was the wrong decision and that they've heard everyone and that they reversed it. So the PlayStation Store is still up, I believe. I could be wrong about that. They might have done something since then. I know they were going to a few years back and they reversed it. So yeah, the PlayStation Store is still up and everything on PlayStation 3.
See, I just want to get it for the actual console itself. Like, I probably won't buy games for it.
It's got a great library. Fantastic library.
I mean, but if they go ahead and make a Game Pass type thing, so
you won't need it if they do that.
As opposed, so what do you mean Game Pass versus PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Now?
PlayStation Now, I guess they're looking at doing a larger library like Game Pass because PlayStation Now's library is pretty small.
It is. It's pretty small, and things come and go.
Yes,
like Game Pass.
Game Pass has things that come and go too, but not as frequently as PlayStation Now. PlayStation Now rotates games out a lot.
Yeah, like it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like you got to be like
there are certain games I know that they advertise it that they're only on there for a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that maybe it's licensing.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't really know. I don't know.
That's where I tried out Grand Theft Auto 3 because they only had it on there for a month, and I was like, I just wanted to see how bad it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was, because I definitely wasn't going to buy it, but when I saw that they put it on PlayStation Now, I was like, all right, let's see how bad it is.
Yeah. I don't know, I'd be interested to, I mean, if they do that, I'll get PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Plus Game Pass thing. I'll get that. Cause,
absolutely.
I mean, granted, you know, the PlayStation 3 was the only PlayStation I didn't own, actually.
Yeah. I went back and bought one after the PlayStation 4 had been out for years.
Yeah, I just, that was one that, it's weird, I have no idea why I didn't get it.
It really does. It has a great library, because, like, I never played it, but I went back and bought a refurb when it was really cheap and picked up a good library for nothing. I'm glad I did. It's even if I haven't played it that much, which I did play a bunch. Like I went through God of War because I never played the original God of War because,
bro, really,
mom and dad were like, no.
Oh wow.
No, because I was so young.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was like one of the first games I bought when I turned 18. I bought a PlayStation 2, and I got the God of War series and just binged it. It's been so long. I've been wanting to go back and play it because, well, no, I don't know if Brenna told you. Like, we did play the God of War on PlayStation Plus, but for some reason it doesn't read on a 4K TV.
Which one?
God
PlayStation Now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we downloaded God of War 1, and we played it on the TV, and it freaked out. Like,
it did not like being played on a 4K?
No. Okay. It was like, there are too many pixels here, and you know what? We're just going to turn these pixels off.
I played it on, when I did play it, I had the PlayStation 3 hooked up to Kendra's TV, which is a 720.
That's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I don't need more ice. I'll take one. Yeah, it just did not like that at all. But, which is a shame, because that's one game that I love. Like, you know, it's a hack and slash at first, but it's really a puzzle game.
It is, yeah.
Like, that's what I like about the God of War series. Like, you know, it's super, you know, just run through, rip and tear things apart, and fuck dudes, and, you know.
And I always try to think about games, especially when playing an old game like that in the modern era. I like to think about it in the context of the time that it was released, and like,
it was incredible.
It was incredible, and it was gory and ultra violent. That was ultra violence for the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, the graphics, dude.
Yeah.
When I saw God of... It's so funny, man. It's so funny. The Master Chief Collection, I think, is the best representation of, like, holy shit, I'm old.
Yeah.
Because you can go in and play it, and I think the select button, you can
turn off the remastered graphics. Yeah.
And I... You know, it's funny because I was playing it, and Dad came over one day, and I was playing Halo 1, and I had, you know, the graphics and everything. He's like, man, that game, that looks really good. I'm like, yeah, this is the game that you told me I was not allowed to go to my friend's house because we were playing this, and you said you didn't want me playing this. He's like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I was like, Dad, watch. And I changed it. I'm like, this is the game that you told me I was not allowed to play. I changed it to the super polygonal graphics and everything. He's like, wow, that looks bad. I'm like, this is the game you said I was not allowed to play. Like, come on, man.
You know, my dad, he's so, like, non-video game, doesn't know anything about it. Sometimes he's come over to my house before while I'm playing something relatively new, fill in the blank, whatever, and I can be in a cinematic, and he'll be like, "Is that a movie?"
Oh my god. It's true.
He can't tell.
It is true. Like, I will say, for our boomer parents, like, I swear to God, if my dad were to see the Spider-Man video game, the Miles Morales, he'd be like, "Is that a movie?" Yeah. Thinking it was live action. That's like what my dad thinks. He's like, he often, when he asks me that, he's asking if it's live action or if it's a video game, because he can't tell. And then you get into games like racing games. Oh god, like Gran Turismo or Forza. Yeah. Like the newest releases, I'm sorry. Or what's that other one that people really... There's a new one coming out. Assetto Corsa or something like that I've heard is like super realistic too. There's a new one, is it PlayStation or Xbox has one? I think it's PlayStation. Has one coming out really soon. Or maybe it's already out. I know Gran Turismo 7 is supposed to be coming out, or maybe it is already out. I'm not into Gran Turismo. I'm not either. I played GT4 on PlayStation 2. Mm-hmm. And that game, granted, I haven't looked at it since I played it when I was a kid, but I bet that even still going back, it's like, wow, this is really good graphics. GT3 was actually the first game I ever got on PlayStation 1. Really? Yeah. PlayStation 1 was my first console. PlayStation 1 was a fantastic console. Mm-hmm. That's why I love that Retroid. Yeah. Dude, it plays PlayStation 1 flawlessly. Like... That's surprising. Like, I have to be cautious about how many PlayStation games I get because they're significantly bigger and I'm only working with a 32 gig. That's not surprising. I figured that something like PlayStation would be way bigger. But the PlayStation 1 library had so many cool games. Medieval. Mm-hmm. Medieval. I've been really, really trying because that was like the King's Gate. Yeah. And what was the other one? I've been wanting to get the From Software games running, but they will not Dark Tower or something? Yeah. Or it was something like that. Something like that, but yeah, where you're just like ascending through 100 floors of that tower. God, I wish I could remember the name. There's the one with the gun. Where it starts out medieval. Dark Tower. I think that's the one, yeah. I've been really trying. But for some reason, From Software, I cannot get to run. It has nothing to do with like it being unable to run it, because I mean I played MGS on it, and it wasn't great, but I played it on it.
You know, that's actually something I've never played. I know the story of it because I played all the other MGS games, but I never played it on PlayStation 1, and I own it as part of the Metal Gear Solid collection on PlayStation 3, but I've never gotten around to it.
I love... my favorite one, though, was the... Was it the Sons of Liberty?
2, where you're playing as Raiden most of the game?
No, you don't play as him for most of the game.
Yeah, you do. You play as Snake in the intro, and then...
It switches to Raiden. It's not most of the game.
It's the entire game.
Is it really?
They pulled a hat trick. Yeah, that was one of the things. That's why.
That's the
even
one...
though it's one of the most loved of the series, a lot of people hated it when it first came out because they pulled a hat trick. They advertised it as like the next entry. Everyone thought you were going to be playing as Snake, and you play as Snake for like the first hour or however it takes you to get through the big tanker incident, and then it switches to Raiden.
Yeah, that's the one on the giant ship, right?
Yeah, and then Snake is in the game as Iroquois Pliskin.
Yeah, because he's pretending to be...
he's under the fake name and everything, but he guides you through the game, but he's like a secondary character.
Man, it's been so long since I played that. That's my favorite. Yeah. Hands down.
I'm still a fan of Snake Eater.
That was the one in Vietnam?
Yeah.
I did not
during the Vietnam era, wherever it takes place.
I thought it was in Vietnam.
No, I don't think it's in Vietnam.
They drop you in the jungle. They're like...
Yeah, but it's in Russia, I believe, right? Because you're taking
that's right.
You're taking on the GRU.
It is. It's in Russia. But it's weird because it looks like you're in Vietnam.
It's like Cambodia, Vietnam-esque jungle. Yeah.
Yeah, that was... I liked the gameplay. I got halfway through and was like, I hate this camouflage system.
Oh, dude, I love it.
I hate it so much.
It. All the little Easter eggs in it, too, like how you can kill the one boss. God, it's been so long since I played it. I can't remember the boss, but there's one boss that you can kill. If you go off in this little side area, you can find a sniper rifle, and you know it's the sniper dude, and he's in the wheelchair, and if you get the sniper rifle early, you can snipe him when he's still in his wheelchair and kill him long before you actually have to go through the boss fight. There's another boss fight where it took me forever to figure out what you have to do, but you actually have to die, because you remember it tells you in the beginning of the game about how you have like a cyanide capsule.
Yeah, in your teeth.
Yeah, and you have to use that to actually beat him. That's the only way to beat him. It took me forever to figure out, but you actually have to die because he's like a ghost or something, or he's like somewhere in between the world of living and dead, and you have to die to beat him.
That's I want to go play. I want to play through them in order, right? Like, not chronologically, but like in actual order of like how the story goes. Because like you've got the NES version, which happens years after the PS2, or years after.
That was back when it was
the Phantom Pain.
You've got Metal Gear, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, and then it goes Metal Gear Solid. Yeah.
And like the story is so hard to follow, but it's so good. It's so ridiculous.
God. Yes.
It's so it's
and there's so much like triple double agent. Like I'm working for this.
Like,
I'm actually working for him, but I'm actually working for it. Yeah.
Ocelot is probably like the most sketchy.
Ocelot's like a quintuple fucking agent. Yeah.
Yeah. Like and then you've got what was not Big Boss. Big Boss is Snake. But his mom, who's actually the mom.
Eva?
Yeah, she was Big Boss.
No.
She was Boss.
Boss, and then Big Boss is Naked Snake.
Naked Snake.
Yeah, Big Boss, and then Solid Snake is the clone son. Yeah, clone son.
And that's why Naked Snake's pissed, because Naked Snake was the one that they cloned, right?
Yes, they cloned Naked Snake, so there were...
But they gave him the aging...
no, that
disease.
was
they gave
that
all
was,
the snakes.
No, that was Solid Snake, just Solid Snake.
Okay, it was no, there was another one too that had the aging
just
disease.
Solid Snake. So you've got Solid Snake. Here we go. Here we go. Here's Metal Gear. Okay, So
And this is where the podcast.
you got Naked Snake / Big Boss. He was cloned the first time. They got one who was the recessive gene, and then the other who was the dominant gene.
Right.
Solid Snake was the recessive gene, but he believed himself to be the dominant gene.
Okay.
Liquid Snake, the enemy of the first game, his brother,
Yeah.
was the dominant gene, believed to be the recessive gene, but it was the other way around.
Right.
Then they cloned him again, did a perfect copy of him,
Oh, yeah, that's
which
right.
is Solidus Snake,
Yeah, Solidus. Yeah. I
the
forgot about him.
enemy in number 2, who is
Yeah.
also the president.
Yeah. Yeah. The Phantom Pain happens really early in the series, I thought.
It's in the 80s.
Ocelot's pretty young. Well, no, dude. Like, didn't MGS2 happen in, like, the 2000s?
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
So
So it's pretty...
the order
It's relatively early in the series.
the order of the series, if you want to play them like chronologically as the story goes, is MGS3, MGS Peace Walker,
Okay.
MGS5,
Phantom Pain?
Phantom Pain.
Okay. No, because, there's,
No, wait.
the
You're-
small DLC one.
Oh, Ground Zero.
Ground Zero
Okay.
happens before.
But I was actually wrong about that. So it's no wait, no, I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm right. So it's MGS3, MGS Peace Walker, MGS5, Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, one after another.
Yeah,
They're like
back to back. They're like sister games.
Yeah, they're like, I think there's a year or 2 year gap where
9 year.
9 year?
Yeah, because
wherever he's in the coma. Yeah.
yeah,
And then you've got Metal Gear 2.
no, I think Metal Gear happens a little later than that. Yeah.
But there's nothing in between that. There's no games in between that.
The mobile one.
Peace Walker.
Was that the mobile one?
Yeah.
I thought that dude. We'll have to look up.
Peace Walker takes place right before Ground Zeroes. I think Ground Zeroes picks up like almost immediately after Peace Walker.
Okay.
So it's.
But wasn't the mobile game also considered not necessarily canon?
What define mobile?
There was a mobile game, a Metal Gear mobile game.
Are you talking about like the PlayStation Portable? Because Peace Walker was on PSP.
No,
They
there's an
they
actual
later
mobile
ported
game.
it to console.
No.
And I don't know what mobile game you're talking about.
I swear there was a mobile game. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Anyway, MGS3, MGS Peace Walker, MGS5, Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots.
Aren't there more spin-offs? Oh, there's the Raiden one.
But that's not canon.
Fuck you.
Revengeance isn't canon.
Fuck you. That game is...
It wasn't even developed by Kojima.
Fuck you. Leave. I'm just kidding. I liked that game. It was short as fuck.
It's a really good hack
I
and slash.
hate hack and slash games. Why do I like hack and slash games? That's what doesn't make any sense.
I love hack and slash.
I hate hack and slash,
Fuck
but it
you.
seems like I really like hack and slash because
I like hack and slash.
Here I am talking about God of War, you know, the Raiden game.
I love hack and slash and beat 'em up. You gotta try Yakuza, dude. Yakuza
I don't like hack and slash, man.
Yakuza is so good just because it's such a wild and bizarre game. It is so bizarre.
Yeah, it is.
And like the main story is like super dramatic, but it's like the over dramatic like
Yeah.
is what makes it great. And then like everything that is like a side activity in those games is so bizarre, wild, and crazy. It's so much fun. And I know you're not a huge fan of like turn-based, but like Yakuza 7
I hate turn-based.
when they went to turn-based.
Yeah. Wasn't that Atlas?
Yakuza?
Yeah.
No, it's Sega, but Atlas is under the Sega umbrella. Yeah.
Right.
There's a ton of Persona references in Yakuza. And then I don't know if you noticed, but if you go to the theater in Persona 5 Royal with Makoto, she asks if you want to see the new movie Dragon Like a Yakuza, which Yakuza 7's called Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Really?
Yeah.
I did go to that movie. I did actually. No, that was one of my favorite things in Persona. Actually, was so funny enough. Actually, is not just going to the movies, but like renting the movies and stuff, and like trying to figure out. Because again, no game guide, no spoilers, and I think that that's what made it so much fun for me. Was I really enjoyed going through and guessing the movies that I was renting and watching and stuff, because like there were some really obscure titles in that were like,
all of them are references though to something.
Yeah, something. Oh man, like there was Sex and the City was referenced in one of them, but it was so like Infidelity in the Town or something.
Yeah,
or something ridiculous like that, and it just the description of these movies, like it's about 4 women who, and it's just so ridiculous.
I know,
but that was my favorite part, I think, about Persona. The only thing I used a guide for was
I mean, I didn't use a guide. The only thing that I use a guide for is just to make sure I make the right decisions in the interrogation.
Yeah, I wish. Well, luckily Brenna's playing through it now. That's what I told her. I was like, you understand, like once you get to the DLC part, you're giving me the game.
Yeah.
Because, like, well, she started out playing Persona 5. And, like, last night she was playing Persona 5, and I'm like, oh, what are you playing? She's like, Persona 5. I'm like, Royale? And she's like, no, Persona 5. Which, actually, we should just go ahead and uninstall Persona 5 on the console, now that I think about it, because it's just taking up space. But anyway, I'm like, no, go play Persona 5 Royale. She's like, but I don't wanna. You know, it's a different game. It's like, it's the same fucking game. It's literally the same fucking game. The ending's the same. Trust me, I got the ending of the Persona 5 game.
It just has, like, the extra semester. Yeah.
DLC. Which is a whole nother game in itself.
There's a huge argument in the Persona community, too, about what's canon.
I've been reading that as well.
Some people, because Atlas has never made an official announcement, some people argue that Persona 5's canon, some people argue that Persona 5 Royal's canon, which means, did you download Persona 5 Strikers?
Yeah, I've got it on the Switch.
Because, yeah, if Persona 5's canon, then Persona 5 Strikers is canon, but if Royal's canon, then Strikers isn't canon.
Wait, if Persona 5 is canon?
If Persona 5's canon, Strikers is canon. If Royal is canon, Strikers is not canon.
So I can play Strikers now then without...
Yes, Strikers was developed at the same time as Royal. I'm in the camp that Royal is canon though, because when they went back and redid Persona 4 and added on the extra ending in Persona 4 Golden, they did announce that Persona 4 Golden was the canon one. So
that's the
just going
PC one, right? And the PSP.
It was originally PlayStation 2. They remastered it as Golden on Vita, and then they put Golden on Steam too. But Golden's the canon version, and just based off that precedent, that's why I'm in the camp that Royal is the canon version. But yeah.
I've got that game runs incredible on that little the Retroid.
Persona 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, and it looks so good on that small screen. That's why I've been saying Persona should have been a handheld game. Like, I think it's...
Shin Megami Tensei is.
Yeah, it is. And I just don't want to open that
the
can of
parent
worms.
series. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a lot of crossovers, and specifically, like, the what are they, they're demons?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it has all the same personas in it. They're just demons, and once it's the same thing, but like you don't have a party in Shin Megami Tensei. I don't think I've never played a Shin Megami Tensei game, but your party is consistent of the demon. It's like it's basically like Persona. It's Pokemon. It's Pokemon Persona. The first
I actually like that more.
The first 2 Persona games were called Shin Megami Tensei Persona. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a Persona 2 though.
Yeah.
which is
Shin Megami Tensei Persona and Shin Megami Tensei Persona 2.
I think I've got that as well. But again, I've got it. I just don't want to open that can of worms because, I mean...
Persona 4 Golden's still my favorite.
That's what I've heard.
I love 5, but Golden is so good. Like, the whole murder mystery.
I've heard it's so long.
The whole... It is.
I don't want to dedicate a whole year.
I got absorbed. Kendra will tell you, when I started playing Persona 4 Golden, like, that consumed me. It's so good. The whole murder mystery and everything that goes into it. It's great.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Do it.
Well, I've got to have time, right? Like, I've got to have the time. And that's my big problem is right now I've been so busy just managing all these different fucking things. Like, I just don't have the time of day to play a fucking huge story-based game like that. Like...
Both of them are, like, pushing 200 hours.
Yeah. I don't have that time right now. I will, eventually. You know. But, in the meantime, I'll play my easy games like Spider-Man. And Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain. Although I think it would be fun to do to go through and play them, like through the whole story. You know, just in order. I think that would be a ton of fun. But
I made it about halfway through 3. The version of 3 that I played though was a little strange.
Persona?
Yeah, they did a remaster for handheld, but they changed it up a little bit. Like, the battle sections were improved, but they turned like the normal day-to-day life sections into like a point and click, and I really didn't like that.
I hate point and click games.
It was like the battle sections were improved, and like the battles, like, it's pretty akin to Persona 4, but for the handheld version, when they adapted it from PlayStation 2 for whatever reason, they decided to turn like the day-to-day, like exploring the town and confidant, they turned it into a point and click, and I hated that. And that's why I only did like about half of it. Really loved the story, it was great and everything, but I hated doing the whole point and click thing. It was just really meh.
I hate point and click games more than anything else. I like RuneScape. That's the only point and click game I've ever enjoyed. Everything else, like, I've never played a point and click game that I like. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Is Myst point and click?
Is what?
Myst?
Yeah.
Oh. See, I want to play Myst. I've been really interested in playing Myst since like fucking 1997. I was 5 years old. I think it was around.
I've heard about that dude.
7 years old.
That dude I first worked with that was super into gaming too. He used to talk about Myst all the time.
Really?
Because that was like one of his introductions into gaming. But he was a big Final Fantasy kid back in the NES days.
I like the NES Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I think I've got it on my phone.
Which one? Like
OG.
Which one?
Or no, not Final Fantasy 7.
Because you gotta
Final Fantasy 1, I'm sorry.
Which one? The American Final Fantasy one or the JP Final Fantasy one?
Whichever one is on the Google Play Store.
Probably the original. The JP. Because, like, back in the 80s, Final Fantasy 1 in America was actually Final Fantasy 3, I believe.
Kind of like Kingsfield.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 1 that came out in America is titled Final Fantasy was technically Final Fantasy 3.
It's the one where...
I haven't played that far back. The oldest Final Fantasy I've played is 6.
Oh. Wow.
6 was the last SNES one before they went to PlayStation 1 with 7.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I'm familiar with the gameplay style and everything, but yeah.
I'm playing through 7 now. I like 7.
7's good.
I think the graphics are terrible.
Yeah. That polygonal...
But it's a fucking massive game.
Yeah.
They put it on 3 goddamn discs.
Yeah. On PlayStation 1.
Emulating that shit?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ is so hard. Do you know the fucking leaps and hurdles I've had to go through just to get Final Fantasy VII working on that thing? Just because like that was the first thing I did because I knew it was on discs. I was like, I am not fucking emulating and playing through a whole disc of gameplay just to find out that when I load up the second disc, it's not going to transfer over my files. Like, dude, I spent like 6 hours finding the right way to get through that. It's fucking bad. Yeah.
I know this is really controversial, but don't get me wrong, there were some bad cinematics and bad American voice acting. But
I love bad American voice acting.
You know, it was great for the wrong reasons, but
I don't care what anyone says. I love it, dude.
It was great for the wrong reasons, but I really liked the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah.
What's the one line? You owe me a pizza.
Yeah.
You still owe me a pizza.
You owe me a pizza. As she's dying.
Yeah.
No emotion in his voice whatsoever. Hey. Honestly, I think Cloud's and the bad voice acting for him is one of the best things about the remake, because he's just so emo, emotionless,
This may be controversial, but if it's got American voice acting, I'm gonna play with American voice acting.
Some of it's really good. Persona's great.
Yeah, the Persona one, great. The
Shouts out to Matt Mercer.
Was he in it?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
No. Ryuji?
There's no way
Ryuji,
he was
I think.
Really?
Ryuji, I think.
He's probably Ryuji, and
he's someone in Persona 4 too. I think he's Tatsumi in Persona 4. I mean, he's either Tatsumi or Yusuke.
He's a great voice actor, though. He really is. Dude, whatever.
I hate watching English dubs, and you know that. I'm a pure...
It depends.
I used to not be, and I used to hate watching anything sub because I didn't want to read, and then I started watching a few anime here and there that I really wanted to watch, and they were only out in subs. And it got to the point to where when I started going back and watching dubs afterwards, I was like, oh, this is really bad.
It depends for me. I mean,
Death Note, we've always talked about Death Note's solid. Death Note is...
That's what I was going to start with.
Is the pinnacle of...
I'd say Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop's really solid.
Cowboy Bebop, I think, is the best dubbed anime of all time.
I'd still say Death Note, honestly. God, L's voice actor nailed him.
Yeah. The voice acting, the suspense... It was the music, though.
The music...
I think the music design...
the music in Death Note is so great.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Right? I think that...
The L theme. Yeah, every time he's pontificating.
That suspense is building.
Every time he's pontificating, and you're like, oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, for me, I think that that's really what it is, though. Voice acting is so fucking simple. I mean, it's hard to get the translations right, just because, the English language versus the Japanese language is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And how we capture emotion versus how Japanese capture emotion, totally fucking different.
Yeah.
However, I think that the real thing that really makes voice acting so much better is the music. Like Cowboy Bebop, it's incredible voice acting, it really is, but I think that the jazz constantly going through, just all these monologues and stuff and everything, and just the dialogue of this fucking, jaded exchanges that everyone has between each other. I think that it really captures that just kind of sociopathic feeling where everyone's just going through life and they're just trying to get through life, where in Death Note it's the exchanges, without the music they'd be awkward as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be so uncomfortable. No one would have these kinds of conversations, especially L and Light, talking to each other. if they had these conversations in real life, it would just be like Ike Harley level cringe without the canned laugh. but with the music building up to it, I think that it really it adds so much to it. I don't know.
Have you seen the theory in Death Note about how Light lost in like the second or third episode?
Mm-mm.
How L played him for the long game?
No, but I'm already all in.
Actually,
Let's go.
like, I can't remember it. There's like a whole...
I'll pull up the... Is there a video?
Yeah, there's a whole YouTube... Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to play it on podcast. Yeah, let's watch it. It's great.
Jesus Christ. What did she do to my setup? Okay.
I'm not going to lie. I've hated it how the chair's been there because I can't see myself and how I look, and I do focus on myself.
It's better that way.
Yeah.
You get to focus on the camera. All right. What is it?
Just look up, like... how Light lost in like the second or third episode. I can't remember what episode. It's the first one where he kills the fake L. You remember that? Yeah, how Light lost in episode 2.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Oh God.
Monster Hunter Rise, bro.
Death Note is one of those series that I just keep coming back to. With every rewatch, I pick up on new and interesting details that I hadn't noticed before. But
Good
there's
job.
been one major thing that has been bugging me ever since the first time I ever watched the show.
Okay.
Light loses in episode 2. He may be smart, but he sure as hell isn't wise. And that's what gets him killed.
No, he's very arrogant.
You'd be
Yeah.
He's a
surprised
megalomaniac.
How many mistakes Light actually makes. But today, I just want to look at his absolute biggest blunder. So, obvious spoiler warning, and without further ado...
Spoilers.
Death Note. Perhaps one of the most intelligently written shows out there. It's one that you can recommend to pretty much anyone, and it's almost certain that they'll enjoy it. But as I alluded to in the intro, Light really isn't that wise when you think about it. Let me explain exactly what I'm talking about. In episode 2, L decides to confront Light directly by putting a death row inmate on TV and baiting Light into killing him live on air.
I remember.
Obviously, we know
I
how
remember.
that went.
Mhm.
Light completely fell for it, and that was essentially where he lost. Before this stunt, all L had was a hunch that there is a person behind this, and that they may be in Japan. That is it. Nothing more. After
Okay.
Light took the bait, however, L confirmed that 1, Kira is in fact a person.
Yeah.
2, not only is he in Japan, but he's specifically in the Kanto region.
Okay.
And 3, he does
All this is known though throughout
Yeah.
the series, but he gets into
After
he's just
realizing
pontificating
that
here.
Blade, Light decides to challenge L and makes even more quite stupid mistakes. Firstly, he never changed up the time of death until the police found the pattern. Secondly, he exposed the capabilities of the Death Note with his experiments.
Right.
Thirdly, and most importantly, he accessed police information and then acted on it. In hindsight, it actually feels like he's trying to zero himself out as much as possible.
Shouts out to William
So
Dafoe.
what should he have done, you may ask? Light was handed an absolutely untraceable, magical notebook that no one has ever even imagined.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what he should have done? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. If he hadn't decided to try to get rid of L right then and there, none of these suspicions would have been confirmed.
I mean, yeah.
There would be a lot
All
I
this is
agree.
revealed, but like I said,
Yeah.
he's just pontificating. It's a 7-minute video. You know how people get monetization
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Sure exists. But I hear you say, L still would have found the time patterns and locations, and may have even figured out that there's a student behind it. Well, sure, but how many students are there in the Kanto region? There's literally no way that they could single out Light in any way. Which leads me onto my biggest issue. He actually acted on the police intel, which he only had access because of a very close relative. This is like the number one thing you hear when listening to true crime podcasts.
Okay, so they were able to zero in.
Our
Yeah.
relatives,
Well, I guess all this is revealed in the
Yeah.
series, but
so it's really
I just wish he would quit pontificating and get into it. I can't believe I watched this
Well,
whole
no,
thing.
this is good.
Okay,
I mean, for
okay.
people who haven't seen it.
He's confirmed that he's in Japan and in the Kanto region. He's essentially confirmed L's suspicion that he is a student, and that he may be related to a fairly high-up member of the police.
Right.
Just think about that for a moment. How
We
much
thought about it watching the
Yeah.
show.
suspect list already? Light could still keep...
All this is covered in the show, in this episode.
But he shouldn't have reacted to it. Keep in mind he has a completely untraceable weapon. So his best course of action was to keep on doing what he's doing. Even if he didn't change the method, he could keep it up endlessly. Maybe add the time to like half of the names he writes down, or sometime while he sleeps, or in
randomize it. I always thought that was
as that would again expose with the death knell.
No, he was extremely methodical in the beginning, and that was very...
and he just quickly descends.
But he did say that he wanted people to know that there was someone out.
Right,
Yeah.
and he became arrogant.
Very quick.
Yeah.
From the first...
When you get God power, you become arrogant. So it makes sense.
No, from the first...
That's why the writing is so fucking good.
From like the first episode to the second episode, he descends so quickly from like this great, valiant idea to megalomania.
Yeah.
L walks right up to Light and takes the book.
He starts out only wanting to kill bad people, and then by the second episode,
anyone who questions
him,
yeah.
Surprising, is it? You always hear that hiding in plain sight is the most effective, right? Well, this is exactly it. In a perfect world, Light would just stagger a bunch of names ahead of time and continue living his life exactly as he has so far. All L would have are a few suspicions and nothing else. He could send out as many FBI agents as he wanted, that is if he could even get the police on board. But singling out Light would simply be impossible. What about the second Kira though, I hear you ask once more. Well, that is perhaps the only real issue that may crop up. And I say may, because the second Kira may not have demonstrated his powers like she did if Light hadn't killed the fake L back in episode 2 live on air. But the best part about the second Kira? Light could have still done absolutely nothing about it. Since their goals align, it's not like they get in each other's way, and as we established before, getting caught using the notebook is actually quite a bit harder than portrayed in the anime. If Misa didn't try to challenge the police, it would be essentially impossible for someone to track her down, as she'd actually cover for Light if the names were misspelled in the reports. So, for the final time, Light should have realized that there is no way for anyone to zero in on him based on the information available. And because of this, he shouldn't have changed the way he works in any way whatsoever. Just like they point out in the show, violent crime had already dropped by an incredible amount, so his twisted dream was already becoming a reality. Obviously, the whole point of the show is how it's his pride that ultimately is his downfall, but that's why I love shows like Death Note so much. The premise, by its very nature, is interesting to deconstruct and think about how it would go down in real life. You immediately want to find solutions to this cat and mouse game of Light and L, which is why I'm making this video. But of course, for the story to work, the characters must be flawed. Otherwise, the user of the Death Note would just never be caught. And that's the video. This is one I rewrote many, many times.
I may have been drunk when I watched this because he covered nothing that isn't covered in the show.
Yeah.
Now I'm realizing that as we watch this, and a better brain than I obviously was when I watched this the first time, that everything that he just went over is covered in the show, and that this accomplished nothing. Sorry for wasting everyone's time.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. God, that's embarrassing.
Let's break it down though, because I think that there is a lot of, I think that he brought up a lot of good points, but at the same time, like, it's obvious that Light's downfall was his narcissism, his God complex, this ability to play God, pick and choose when someone dies. Like in the very beginning, yeah, you're absolutely right. It was, you kind of voted for L. And at the end of it, not even at the end of the series, like...
Yeah, I'm feeling that right now.
Yeah. Not even at the end of the series, like, you're questioning... Hold on. For those of
You're
you
good.
listening along and who have been drinking along and who have the hiccups, here's how to cure hiccups in 30 seconds. What you do is you take a deep breath and then you swallow. Swallow that spit cum at least 5 times. I go for 6, maybe 7. So
These are long seconds.
and my hiccups are cured.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. I cured it. Seriously, that is the trick to curing hiccups.
No, I do it too. Holding your breath. It's the greatest.
No, you hold your breath and you swallow.
Dude, I'm so sorry.
That was me.
Oh, okay. My phone's been like going off the hook since we started.
Ignore work. We're gonna actually I think we should end the podcast a little early. Just this. Okay. Excuse me while Brandon.
It's
Checking his phone.
it's
He's doing business.
okay. We
All
have
right.
new podcast content according to my wife.
Oh, we do.
Meatloaf has died.
Alrighty, let's dive into. Holy shit, Meatloaf died?
Meatloaf died.
Okay, well. Let's talk about it. We do have to save some bourbon
Yeah.
for Brenna.
Okay.
Because I don't
do
want
it.
her to miss out
Let's
on
do
it.
it.
But we can do at least one more
Okay.
cup. Tonight is the night that we don't drink a whole a whole bottle of bourbon in a single sitting. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We have to save some for his waifu. It's his
And
waifu for life. And
because-
this is Garrison Brothers. Small batch or single batch? Small batch.
Because this bourbon is so good. Like, seriously.
She needs to sample it. We
And-
would be she's in recovery. She's in recovery
Yeah,
from
she's from last night.
Yeah.
She drank like 5 bottles of wine.
No, dude, I didn't know she was drinking wine. How's her? I bet she has like
She's dying.
a murderous hangover.
She's
a
probably
murderous hangover.
She's probably dead. I
Yeah.
should go check on her.
Yeah.
That's why we got to end this early, and we got to save
But
some bourbon
we
for
would be
her.
remiss if she did not get to sample this amazing.
Absolutely.
Let's bring it back to the bourbon real quick.
Yeah, no, I think
Garrison-
we should end it
yeah.
on the bourbon.
Okay, let's end it on the bourbon. We'll talk
And
about this.
So,
Yeah.
no, let's do it right now. Let's finish this.
I mean, let's talk about Meatloaf. You know, you disobeyed my orders, son. Why were you ever born? Your brother's 10 times better than you. Jesus
Dad.
loves him more.
Stop saying these mean things to me, Dad. Why are you so mean to me, Dad? Dad,
Meatloaf,
there's a reason why.
Tenacious D, Rocky
I'm just
Horror Picture
kidding.
Show.
I'm
Thank you.
just kidding. Dad is my friend. I love my dad so much. He's a fucking asshole, but he taught me how to be hard, and I love my dad. He's seen some shit though, you know.
Everett's dad taught him how to get hard.
He did. My dad makes me hard.
Your dad makes you
He
hard.
really does. He's a fucking gorilla. My dad.
Your dad is a gorilla.
My dad is a walking gorilla. He's a
Oh, dude,
homeopath.
small glass.
Well, as long as it's not. Oh well.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to be. You know, conservative.
It's not below. Okay.
Okay, you went a little.
That's
higher.
enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. Yeah. My dad is he is the peak alpha male. Like if I weren't gay or into incest or anime, I would fuck my dad.
We're both actually probably not Everett.
What?
Probably not Everett. I'm a massive disappointment to my alpha male father.
Me too.
Look at me. Okay, yeah. We're both in that boat.
But I still love him.
Yeah, we still love him.
I love my dad so much.
My dad
He's
hates
so
me
cool.
right now, probably. You know, We go in and out. Dad and I haven't talked, and actually, I think this is like, now that I'm thinking about this, I think this is like a yearly thing with me and my dad where we won't speak to each other for months.
See, for me and Dad,
you like, and your dad have a better relationship than me and my dad do
I
these
give him
days.
shit though. I shit on him.
No,
so
the thing
bad.
is that you broke your dad.
I did.
The thing with my dad is my dad is just. You've said this before. You don't understand. My dad is. He's way too headstrong and just set in his ways.
My dad killed people. My dad straight up, his job was killing people before he retired. I mean, like, he's a fucking, like, actual kill person.
But my dad is also, like, the epitome of narcissistic baby boomer.
Sure. My dad just kills people. He's not narcissistic. And that's what pisses me off. That's what I don't understand. Is my dad is a fucking...
Your dad's a fucking...
He's a fucking... Like, my dad fucks.
Your dad's a fucking...
My
He's
dad
a fucking...
My dad fucks so good. Dude, like, seriously. Did I ever tell you about the porn star story?
No.
Okay. Next podcast.
Porn star story.
The porn star story. I'm going to text that to you as well. So that,
Long dick dad.
My dad fucks. My dad gets his dick wet. Like, that shit is not just some dick wet type shit, like some fucking super soaker type shit. It's not even slip and slide type shit. My dad gets his dick wet, slobbery fucking cum guzzling, just all over the place, puking ass, weird fetish site type shit.
You remember in the early days of this podcast when we were really sloppy?
Yeah, my dad tuned in.
Oh, did he?
Oh, you were there. Of course you were there. You were right
Oh
here.
no, when your sister was watching
Dad tuned in.
and Dad walked in. But anyway. You remember back in the early days of this podcast when I texted you after I watched some of... Good God. I'm sorry. Hang on. When I watched some of what we had done the night before, and I said, we have to upload this on niche porn sites because I can never have my family find this.
Yeah.
This is going to be you after this episode. When you go back and watch what you just said about your dad. Actually, you probably don't care.
I don't give a fuck.
My family would disown me.
I've been disowned so many times that
I know
I've been
you have.
negative disowned.
I know
They
you have.
reversed it.
I know.
They took me back because I've been disowned so good.
They just gave up. See,
Yeah.
that's the thing, though. My parents don't give up. They just don't.
Dad, you know, those porn stars wanted to get all up on that dick. That's a good dad dick. Jesus Christ. It's about time to end this podcast.
That's a good dad dick. That's the quote for this podcast. Podcast title, that's a good dad dick. Rest in peace to Meatloaf.
Yeah, Meatloaf is dead.
You're a legend. You always were. You made waves. Everett's checked out now.
No, I'm,
So, Everett's checked out. I'm bringing it back to the bourbon.
yes, let's talk about the bourbon.
Garrison Brothers small batch. Anything Garrison Brothers, actually. I'll just go ahead and testify to that. About 2 years ago, I was a real Kentucky snob when it came to bourbon.
Oh, he was one of those guys from the very start. We're bringing it back. I like that.
I was one of those guys. And Everett for Christmas got me a bottle of the... I'll call it Silver Label because I don't really know what to call it. They have like a few different Garrison Brothers that, as far as I know, I believe they're just called Garrison Brothers, but the wax melt on them is different. He got me a bottle of the, I'll just call it, like I said, Silver Label Garrison Brothers, and that was the first time that I really had because I had branched out before and I hadn't had anything I liked outside of the Kentucky region, and that was the first time that I really started to branch out with different states and different climates in my bourbon. And Garrison Brothers is, if you can afford it, because it's steep no matter what you're buying for Garrison Brothers, even if it's their cheapest, it's still a little steep. It's a treat, really and truly. It's worth every penny. It's not your everyday bourbon by any means. It should absolutely be revered, as I just called it, a treat. But
yeah,
Garrison Brothers is...
It's a delicacy.
It is. It's truly something else. I wish which we've already degraded into some sort, or to some degree of drunkenness, but I wish our bourbon tasting was more verbose and whatnot. But, you know, we're amateurs. We're amateur aficionados, and we're just here to tell you what's good.
We're alcoholics that like bourbon.
We're alcoholics that really like bourbon. We do have an appreciation for bourbon. We're not just here to get drunk. Believe me, we know what's good and we know what's not good. That's true. Really pretentious. Fuck.
No, we do. It's true.
We do.
It is true.
We have, just because we are not verbose and prolific in our tasting and reviews, does not mean that we don't have fine taste. Believe me,
Can I just pause and say, like, we do actually take the time to drink the bourbon and appreciate it.
We do.
That's why we're doing it. We've drank some nasty-ass bourbons.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And what I was going to, to add to that, what I was getting at is, if we were just baseless alcoholics that didn't have appreciation for the fine, especially tonight, the fine alcohol that we are drinking.
That's why we're saving it.
Yes.
Because we want our producer to have some.
Absolutely. We would just buy, $15 bottles of fucking grog, and we would
the military special.
Yeah, and we would just slug it down. We wouldn't sit here and sip on it. So, do not mistake our occasional lack of prolific critique for just getting drunk. We really do have an appreciation for this, but by all means,
you cannot go wrong buying.
You can't go wrong buying Garrison Brothers. There is no wrong answer to Garrison Brothers.
No.
And if you have a chance to get your hands on a bottle of the small batch Garrison Brothers, you absolutely should. It is, as Everett said, a delicacy.
Yeah. It's fancy, it's good, it's delicious.
And
if you like bourbon,
not to mention, I'm just gonna bring this up again. If you got a shelf or something where you
closer.
where you like to display bottles, I mean, God, just look at
there is
this
handwritten Sharpie right there.
And God, do I love it when they hand write in Sharpie the batch number, the barrel number. It's just, once you've finished it, it's beautiful to display. It's a beaut to display.
Yeah.
And we cannot wait to display it on our shelf up here, which is not in frame. We will work on, or I won't say we won't.
I will. I've got a tripod for it.
Okay, yeah.
So we will.
But we have a nice little shelf up here of everything that we've done so far. Including the 12-year slog that I bought us on...
Don't say that.
What?
Don't be hateful.
Dude, I am so upset about that.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But tonight we're not drinking the whole bottle because it's so good.
We would be, as I said, we would be remiss if his waifu did not get to sample this.
She loves bourbon. She really does. She appreciates it the same way that we all do. And I have to save this little bit that we've saved for her. Tonight we're gonna stream some Demon Souls. We're gonna get we're gonna get hard. We're gonna go hard.
We're gonna get hard. We're gonna fuck dudes and get hard.
And tonight I really especially do not want to cut her out from what she's missing out on, because it's that good. If you are interested, if you've been questioning, should I try the Garrison Brothers bourbon, you absolutely should.
And whatever you can get. If you can get the small batch.
If you can get the cheap stuff, it doesn't matter. Like,
which it's not really that cheap.
No, it's not.
It's just cheaper than the small batch.
It's not cheap.
Garrison Brothers is fine, and they know that they're fine, and that's good because
you will not be upset.
You will not be upset, even if you can get one of their cheaper bottles. Please do. And also, do you mind if I advertise it?
No, please do.
Where did we sit it?
What?
Yes.
Oh, he's going hard.
It might not be next week. We've been rolling dice to decide, but up and coming, I still don't even know how to say this. Balmoral. We also have a lovely bottle of the Garrison Brothers Balmoral. This is the only bourbon that they have that is second to their finest, which is the Cowboy. And good Lord, that Cowboy, both of us will eventually sample it one day.
Yeah.
But it is quite the penny to drop on a bottle
of
bourbon. It's a
lot of money.
It's a lot. One day it will happen, but we do have the second in line, the top tier of what Garrison Brothers have to offer, and that is to come. And it will be a fine episode.
So
I feel like we have to do like a real itinerary for that when that comes.
Yeah.
We have to do an itinerary.
No, we will.
Yeah.
But if you've made it this far and you've tuned along, you've enjoyed the Bourbon Bod, the Bourbon Basement podcast.
The Bourbon Bod.
The Bourbon Bod.
The Bourbon Bod.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all those magical things, and give us a recommendation on your favorite bourbon, because we would
love that, actually. Yes.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. You know, if it's something more obscure, we're willing to do pretty much anything bourbons we've done before on this podcast, but we're quite well versed before we started this, but yeah. Anything that you like, please recommend it. Pop in, drop a comment.
Yeah, let us know what your favorite bourbon is, and you know what?
Smash that fucking like and subscribe button.
And most importantly, head on over to twitch.tv and /Amaranth and subscribe to her.
And head on over to twitch.tv /TwitchThought.
Yeah, let's go play some Demon Souls.
Let's go play some Demon Souls.
We'll see you guys next
week. See you guys.